You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN E-mini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things E-mini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borg. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today is Friday, 6th day of October, 2023. Thanks so much for joining us. Whoever you are, wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here, right now. We do 2 live broadcasts every trading day. First live broadcast is from 9:15 a.m. Eastern to 11:30 a.m. Eastern. That's our live training room. That broadcast is reserved for members only and those who are taking their 1-week free trial. If you haven't taken your 1-week free trial, go to mytradingiq.com, and at the top of the page there's a link that says 5-day free trial. Now, it doesn't matter what day of the week or weekend or hour of the day that you click the link, because here's what will happen. Whenever you click that link, as soon as we get the information, first we'll get together and set up your desktop, get your indicators indicating, and then the following trading day, that's when your trial will actually start. So, signing up today, of course, that means you would have 5 consecutive days next week. But for whatever reason, maybe you can't start till next Tuesday or next Wednesday. That's okay, we'll get you set up, but your trial won't start until you're ready to start. And so you'll still get 5 consecutive days, even if it stretches over a weekend. So don't worry about the day or of the week or weekend. Just go to mytradingiq.com, click the link, top of the page. Now, when the live training room ends each day, we take a 30-minute break, then we come back at 12 noon Eastern for this broadcast, the afternoon broadcast, which is open to the public. That's everybody, everywhere on planet Earth with an internet-connected device. Now, there are 2 different ways you can join this afternoon broadcast live. Best way, go to mytradingiq.com, scroll down to where it says afternoon broadcast, click the link, complete the 30-second registration form, and you're done. You only have to do that once. What will happen going forward is you'll get an email every trading day about an hour before this broadcast starts. So at 12 noon Eastern, all you have to do is click the link in the email, and it will automatically log you into our platform. And that will give you access to the question box, so you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. Now, there will be days that you're out of the office, away from the desktop, but you'd still like to join the broadcast live. And there'll be days when you're just busy and can't join live, but would like to watch it later. That's why we have our YouTube channel, youtube.com/CFRN. You already know the youtube.com part, so really all you have to remember is CFRN. Not only do we broadcast live every trading day on our YouTube channel, but we also archive each and every daily broadcast. Currently, there's over 2,300 daily episodes archived for your educational and viewing pleasure. Also, if you're new to the world of CFRN, it's a good way to get to know who we really are. Not just today or this week, but over the years. Thanks to YouTube, you can scroll back 6 weeks, 6 months, 2 years, even more. You just pick some days at random. Listen in a little bit. You'll quickly find the thread of connectivity, the thread of continuity that's woven through each and every daily broadcast. youtube.com/CFRN. So open with our daily devotional and a word of prayer, as we do. Now our topic this week, and this will carry over into next week, is faith works. And it's really a study on the book of James, which, as we discussed earlier in the week, was the first book of the New Testament written. When you open the Bible, it's not the first book in the New Testament, but it was the first one written. Today, we move into James chapter 2, verses 1 through 13, and I'll be sharing with you from the Message translation. My dear friends, don't let public opinion influence how you live out our glorious Christ-originated faith. If a man enters your church wearing an expensive suit and a street person wearing rags comes in right after him, and you say to the man in the suit, "Sit here, sir. This is the best seat in the house," and then you either ignore the street person or say, "Better sit here in the back row." Haven't you segregated God's children and proved that you are judges who can't be trusted? Listen, dear friends. Isn't it clear by now that God operates quite differently? He chooses the world's down and out as the kingdom's first citizens, with full rights and privileges. This kingdom is promised to anyone who loves God. And here you are abusing these same citizens. Isn't it the high and mighty who exploit you, who use the courts to rob you blind? Aren't they the ones who scorn the new name Christian used in your baptisms? You do well when you complete the royal rule of the Scriptures. Love others as you love yourself. But if you play up to these so-called important people, you go against the rule and stand convicted by it. You can't pick and choose in these things, specializing in keeping one or two things in God's law and ignoring others. The same God who said, "Don't commit adultery," also said, "Don't murder." If you don't commit adultery, but go ahead and commit murder, do you think your non-adultery will cancel out your murder? No. You're a murderer, period. Talk and act like a person, expecting to be judged by the rule that sets us free. For if you refuse to act kindly, you can hardly expect to be treated kindly. Kind mercy wins over harsh judgment every time. Again, that was James chapter 2, verses 1 through 13. Now, today's scripture stands in stark contrast to what we talked about yesterday, caring for widows and orphans. Instead, the stain of worldliness was polluting the church with favoritism for the rich. Simply put, they weren't putting the teachings of Jesus into practice. James confronts our sin head on. We sin when we show partiality to some people over others, whether they're rich, poor, or different in another way. Believers should extend mercy rather than harsh judgment to others. Faith without mercy toward others is not genuine faith. Familial language is key in James' letter to the dispersed church. Followers of Jesus, true faith is personal, but it's also communal. The church is the family of God. We previously saw that when addressing the nature of temptation, James referred to God as the Father of lights. When describing religion that is pure and undefiled, James again referred to God as Father. Notice that religion that pleases the Father is caring for widows and orphans, women and children without families. In these verses, James turned his attention to another marginalized group, the poor. Almost every time a practical point of application is addressed, James used a key phrase to draw attention to what he was about to say, pleading in love with his fellow church members. Christ paid the ultimate price for his church. When we make petty judgments of others in the church based on what they wear or how much money they're able to give, the church becomes indistinguishable from the world. We don't enter the church based on merit. Jesus paid the same price for every person in his church. The same gospel unites us, brothers and sisters in Christ. His blood bought our freedom from sin and made us sons and daughters of the Father of light. Join me in a word of prayer. Heavenly Father, as we gather today, we thank you for the profound message we find in James 2, which calls us to show no favoritism and to love our neighbors as ourselves. Lord, we confess that in our fallen humanity, we sometimes struggle with biases and prejudices. We ask for your forgiveness for any times we have shown favoritism or treated others unfairly based on their appearance, status, or background. Help us, Lord, to see others through your eyes, recognizing the inherent value and dignity of every individual. May we love our neighbors as ourselves, demonstrating your love and grace to everyone we encounter. Guide us to be doers of your word, not merely hearers. Empower us to act justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with you. May our faith be evident through our actions of love and compassion. Lord, we pray for unity and harmony among your people, that we may be a reflection of your love and grace to the world. Help us to break down the walls of division and prejudice, working towards a society where justice and mercy prevail. We thank you, Lord, for your impartiality and the boundless love you have shown us through Christ. May we extend that same love and acceptance to others, regardless of their background or circumstances. As we seek to live out the royal law found in James 2:8, to love our neighbors as ourselves, may we bring honor and glory to your name. In a world often marked by division, may we be a source of unity and healing. It's in Jesus' name, believe and pray. And everybody said, amen. Amen. Happy Friday. It's finally here. The weekend. Just a few hours away. Now, Monday is a holiday, but the markets will be open. It's Columbus Day, Indigenous Peoples Day. Banks will be closed. I don't know if the mail will run. The bond market is the only market that will be closed. And I think the ag markets might be closed as well. I think on days when bonds close, ag markets close as well. But check it out for yourself if the ag markets are of interest to you. Now, let me give you the numbers. Around the world, start here in the U.S. with the cash markets, or the indices as they're called. The Dow is up 288 points, almost 1%. The NASDAQ is up 162 points, 1.25%. S&P 500 is up 41, almost 1%. And the Russell 2000 up 19 points, almost 1.25%. In the commodity basket, crude oil up 74 cents, trading 83.05 last. It's a gain of almost 1%. Gold up $15.50, trading 18.4740 last. That's a gain of almost 1%. And silver up 68 cents, trading 21.70 last. It's a gain of 3.25%. In the Asian markets at the close, Nikkei down 80 points, Shanghai up 3. I think that Shanghai's broken. That would be 4 days in a row up 3 points. Something's not updating there, I don't believe. The Hang Seng, on the other hand, is up 272 points, which is a little over 1.5%. So we had a mixed day in Asia. It was a green day for the UK. And so far It's a big green Radio Friday here in the US of A. We had some important news out this morning. That's part of it. And US markets tend to rally into a holiday weekend. And you're like, wait a minute, you just said the markets are open. They are, but it's still considered a federal holiday. So if you work for the government, you get the day off. If they don't get this budget thing straightened out, you may have a lot of days off. So anyway, enjoy the one you have on Monday. All right. Let's take a look at Logic 247. That's our 24/7 around the clock E-mini alert service. Not just E-minis, but also crude and gold and silver, euro, bonds. We're in week 270, and over the last 270 weeks, we've issued over 15,100 individual alerts. In fact, I think we're right at 15,200. This recap was good through 7 a.m. this morning. Valerie will finish it up for the week this afternoon. Quiet week, total of 30 alerts, 4 never triggered. 7 a.m. we were still waiting on the outcome of 6. So that gave us 20 actionable alerts, of which 4 or 20% would have been stopped out based on a very simple risk profile that we teach all of our passport holders in their unlimited one-on-one mentoring sessions. Over the last 270 weeks, we've averaged 20% or less of the logic alerts being stopped out based on that risk profile. Now, the logic alerts are based on current price action. They can come out at 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. whenever opportunity presents itself. Futures trade around the clock, and we have traders around the globe. So their day session is our night session and vice versa. Now, along with the logic alerts, we still have our original alert service, concierge trade alerts. And they're a little bit different in a couple different ways. With the logic alerts, I have already looked left for you to see where potential obstacles lie. The final trade to target on every logic alert, if it's a long, it's the weekly zone above. If it's a short, it's the weekly zone below. The CTAs are based on historic price action. The logic, current price action. Current price action meets historic price action. That's where we find some of our best high probability, low risk trade opportunities. Now, the CTAs don't come out around the clock like Logic 247. The CTAs are published as a static report shortly after the Globex open each evening. Now, of course, we all know we're in the Friday session, but remember, the Friday session began last night at 6 p.m. Eastern. And so this report was published at 6:10 p.m. Eastern, 10 minutes after the open. So what do you do with these numbers once they're published? Now, if you're not a member or trial member, you did not get these numbers last night. So if you want to take a screenshot, you can. If you're watching this after the fact on our YouTube channel, just hit pause on the video and jot down whatever numbers are important to you, because before the broadcast ends, we'll walk through each one of these individual markets. Now, when the report comes out, the first thing you do is you make note of where price is on whatever markets it is that you trade on the 30-minute chart. It will always be between these two numbers. Once you've made a mark on the 30-minute chart where price was at the time of the release, draw a line in the sand at the long target, line in the sand at the short target. They will serve as great visual cues to help you stay on the right side of the street. If price gets above the 30-minute BBC, it's attempting to reach the long target. If price gets below the 30-minute BBC, it's attempting to reach the short target. It's pretty simple. Now with the CTAs, you have to look left to spot potential obstacles. On the logic alerts, I've already done that for you. That's why there's multiple targets on most logic alerts. Our goal is for you to become self-sufficient. The purpose of the alerts are not just so you can trade those and not have to worry about learning how to trade. What we do has everything to do with helping you learn how to trade. If your goal is to someday trade for a living, then you don't want to have to depend on someone else to tell you when to get in and when to get out. The chart and the indicators will tell you everything you need to know. But with the CTAs, it's another step in the training direction, because with the CTAs, you look left and spot the potential obstacles. You can use the logic as a cheat sheet. Okay? And over time, you'll learn how price behaves at a weekly trading zone. From the moment the markets open Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern till they close Friday afternoon at 5 p.m. Eastern, price is always trying to reach a weekly trading zone. If price is above the 30-minute BBC, it's trying to reach the weekly trading zone above. Price is below the 30-minute BBC, it's trying to reach the zone below. We've published the zones since December 14th of 2009. That's a lot of years. So we're coming up on December 9th, 2023. Subtract 9 from 23 and that'll tell you how many years it is. Hence 14. Moving on. Only 3 things can happen at a weekly trading zone. The most common, consolidation, 70% of the time. Rejection, 20% of the time. And the slice, 10% of the time. You simply have to resist the urge to make it more complicated than what I just explained. As long as you know which way the wind is blowing, it's pretty simple to reach your goal for the day. So let's go take a look at the daily chart. It's where we always start. Why? Because institutional traders look at daily, weekly, and monthly charts the way you and I look at 30-minute charts, 5-minute charts, tick charts, and range charts. Why? It has to do with account size. When institutions trade, that moves price. So, if we look at what the institutions are doing, and simply do the same thing. We only have to do it long enough to get our goal for the day, and then have the self-discipline to put the mouse away. Now, last night during the workshop, we carved out this little 20-point window of opportunity. Price opened last night just below the step line. And so we said there's potential support at red and falling. But with that news this morning, we got a spike. We went all the way through that 20-point window and then probably another 20 points. Now we've gotten above the step line. Remember, we talked yesterday about how that was acting as resistance right at the 50. We said yesterday and the day before that if price could get back above the 50 and get above the step line, that it would most likely make a beeline for the BBC 38% fib combo. And we would expect resistance there until proven otherwise. And that would keep this big pattern valid. Now, technical analysis 101. When you have a head and shoulders pattern, you just measure from the top of the head to the neckline, which just so happens to be the 38% fib retracement. And then once the neckline breaks, you move your measuring stick down, just like that. Again, that's nothing proprietary. It's in every technical analysis book. But what's really interesting about this particular head and shoulders pattern is that measured move lines right up with the previous bullish cross that has not been tested. Whenever you have a bullish cross that leads to an extended move, the first time price revisits that area, it will almost always be good support, at least the first time down. Opposite is true of a bearish cross. So the thing we discussed possibly happening yesterday and Wednesday is happening. Now you've got to look left to spot your potential obstacles on the way to the BBC. Once price gets to this area, we expect major resistance and then a continuation of the leg. Remember I said how far we've dropped without a retracement to the BBC? Look over here on the way up. Leg retracement, leg retracement, leg retracement, leg retracement, leg retracement, leg. The pullback holds more often than not, but we know eventually it will trade through. Keeps the markets flexible and fluid and tradable. So now we're drawing legs in the opposite direction. Leg retracement, leg retracement, leg retracement, leg retracement, leg. See, we found support right at the 24% fib. Set us up, but we didn't break this trend line. We came back down, took out this area of support, took us all the way down to the 38. Now the first time, buyers stepped in before we hit the 38 and drove us up. This time, sliced right through it. And then the next day, price retraced back to the 38 and then continued in the direction of that slice. So we got this far. This support right here. Now we're doing the thing that we would expect because we know the market travels in legs. Now price falls faster than it rises because for price to move higher, that requires financial commitment. for price to fall, all that has to happen is the institutional buyers hit the pause button. Once institutional buyers hit the pause button, then the institutions that specialize in short selling will come out of the woodwork and drive price down even further. So we've had a real dogfight here at the 50. I expect an even bigger one down at the 62. Now that's all based on whether we make this completed pullback and it holds. Is it possible we could pull back to it and overcome it? You've got to embrace all possibilities all the time. Now the green line, the BBC, that just stands for bull bear cross. When price crosses above it, we're bullish. We expect higher prices. Price crosses below it, we expect lower prices. Higher prices, lower prices. Whether it's on the daily chart or the 30-minute chart. All alerts are based on the 30-minute chart. These weekly zones that you see, these are the zones that were published Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. Once the zones are published, they're carved in stone for the entire week. They don't change in any way whatsoever. Yesterday, it was a bit of a lackluster day. We spent the entire session really trapped inside of one zone, or from zone to zone. Now we talked about this last night. Here we are on Friday, here's Wednesday, here's Thursday. Thursday we tried to get to this zone, couldn't do it. Tried again here, 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 here. Finally, we got to that zone, and once we broke through that zone, look what happened. We ran right up to the next zone, 4340/41, almost to the tick. 39.5. So we missed touching it by 2 ticks. Zones are an area just like fibs are. So the market opened last night, and we traveled right up to the long target. Price got below the BBC. That news came out this morning. That took us down to the short target. And we overshot this support. We didn't quite make it to this support. Buyers then stepped in. Cooler heads prevailed. And we made a run. Up through the zone. Up through the zone we couldn't get through for 2 days. Hit this zone to the tick. Now what's happening? When the market finds resistance, it's going to go look for support. So where is it likely to find support? Could find support here at the step line. We could find support at the low of this candle, but most likely it'll be the step line. The weekly zone, 4307/4308. If we dip below, then we've got the BBC and blue and climbing. Remember, price always reverts to the mean. In our case, the mean is green, and it's called the BBC. Leg retracement. Now, this was such a bullish move. I don't know if buyers are prepared to give up on their gains, so they may defend this area. We may not get a pullback today to the BBC. But this 4340 zone/41 very well might mark the high of the session. On the Dow, here's where we opened, ran up to the zone overhead, found resistance, got below the BBC, and dropped right to the short target. Lots of room to get your goal for the day there. Then we get back above the BBC, and we run to the long target, and then the zone overhead. And again, we've already pulled back below the zone, and so price will look to find support either here at the step line, or more likely here. This is support times 3. You got a weekly zone, you got the BBC, and you got fluent climbing. Any one of those individually could be potential support. But with 3 of them there, there's a very high probability that if price can drop that far, it will find support at this cluster. On the Russell, here's where we opened. We ran up to the long target, dropped below the BBC. We dropped to the lowest weekly zone, 1725/26. Bought a nice bounce. Hit the long target. And we didn't quite make it but to the next zone at 76/77. Now, because we didn't run into a major obstacle here, like a zone, we may or may not get that pullback all the way to the BBC. We'll be patient. We'll see what happens between now and the end of the broadcast. On the NQ, we opened, traded sideways, ran up, hit the long target. News came out, ran down, hit the short target. Buyer stepped in, just like on all the other markets, and drove us all the way up to this target, to this zone, where we're now consolidating. Remember, 70% of the time, consolidation. 20% of the time, rejection. 10% of the time, the slice. On crude, here's where we opened last night. Price pulled up to the BBC, which we expect to be resistance until proven otherwise. And then that dropped us. Leg, retracement, leg, retracement, leg. We hit the short target once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. Now price is above the BBC. We just had a bullish cross. And so the market is eyeballing 83.90 as its next upside target. It's got to take out this swing high and this swing high before it can get to 89.30. Gold, here's where we open. Ran up to the long target. Pulled back to the BBC, hit the long target again. Got below the BBC, hit the short target. Above the BBC, we hit the long target. We run up to the zone, which is resistance, and sends us back to the BBC, which then sends us through that zone. Now we're pulling back, and if you look at the step line, it's starting to hook right. When that step line crosses blue and climbing, that's a high probability indication that price will pull back to the BBC. Silver flattened sideways most of the session. We did start to rally here. I mean, it only takes 2 points in silver to get your goal for the day. So it was there. It was here. And then once we got above the long target, we traded through this zone, immediately reversed, came back to the BBC. Remember, the pullback holds more often than not, even when it gets spiked. By the time this 30-minute candle closed, it held. And it held. And where's price trying to go? Zone overhead. Remember, price is always trying to get to a weekly trading zone. Does it always make it there? No. But it's always trying. Like here. Now the step line is crossing blue and climbing. So if that happens, watch for the pullback to the BBC and the zone, which should be good support. Support times 2, which will give you another leg to the upside. And last, the euro. Here's where we open. We pull back to the BBC. Ran up to the zone, consolidated, hit the long target. Then we got that news. Took us all the way down to a low put in 2 days ago. Price reverses, gets back above the BBC, travels through this zone, and finds resistance at this zone. So Michael is here.
I am.
Let's get going with the recap of the live training room, and then we'll trade live for 30 minutes on the TradingView platform, and then we'll wrap it up with a good word for the day.
All right.
Looks
You
good.
should see my screens.
Yep, looks good.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Today's Friday, the 6th day of October 2023. If you've not taken a free trial with us and you want to, go here to mytradingiq.com and click on this right here so we sign up for the free trial. Now, when you click on it, it's not going to bring you to that page. It's going to bring you to this page. Make sure, I probably had to refresh that. Nope, it's good. Okay. That's going to bring you to this page. On this page, just fill it out. And down here at the bottom, if you have TradingView, give us a TradingView username or ID. And if you have an NinjaTrader, give us your machine ID. Okay. All right. The spreadsheet. If you're going to read the spreadsheet, you have to read all the CFTC risk disclosures down at the bottom. Today is the 6th day of October 2023. Today we made 160 ticks on the NQ. We lost 20 on the Russell. We made 23 on crude, and we're break even on the ES. That put us at 9:30 on the morning session. Today it took 9 minutes and 2 trades to get to $1,500, and we took a total of 31 trades this morning. So on the month now, we're at $3,000 even. After 5 days, we're averaging $600 per contract per session on the month. On the year now, we've gotten our goal for the day on 186 out of 190 days, and that puts us at $84,294. So we're averaging $453 per contract per morning session, right? We were at one point, we were up over $1,000, $1,100 even, but I stopped out twice on the NQ. I'll explain all that when I get into it. If you were to quit trading when you get your goal for the day, you want to be consistently profitable. And if you were to quit trading when you get your goal for the day, you had to add 1 contract per month. So far this year, you would have had over 59.65 hours, and you would have averaged $2,375 per day on the year. Okay, $2,375 per day on the year. Now, that's a great number. Last year, the number was even better, but last year we traded 2 hours every day. This year, we're only doing 1 hour a day. So that's not too bad for trading just 1 hour a day. Well, give or take. Anyway, speaking of trading, let's get into it. We'll start out with gold, not gold, crude oil. Sorry, crude oil. We had some decent stuff going on in crude today. We did stop out one time. Go back to the beginning here on crude. Plenty of time today. Plenty of time. All right, we'll go back to the beginning. Now we had big high impact news. High impact news come out this morning in the pre-market. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but anyway, it was high impact news. We start out with a break even here on crude, then another break even here on crude, and then somewhere in there was a plus. No, we start on crude. Wait a minute, is this crude? Yeah, there was a plus 10 in there somewhere, and I think this should have been a plus 10. Because then we stopped out right after the plus 10. That should be a blue arrow. We picked up 10 ticks, and then we stopped out and went back to 0. And then we picked up 17 ticks on this move right here. Okay. Picked up 17 ticks on that move. And then over here we picked up Another 5 ticks on this one right here. I didn't get this because the long-term direction was too flat. So I took this one, it came back up and hit the ribbon, and we didn't get a green arrow on that because we weren't coming out of the overbought. All right. So then we got into the training. Actually, we didn't do any training this morning. We just traded the whole time. I guess I did do a little bit of training, but I didn't really break away into it. I normally did. We had one more trade here, and we got to one more tick. They got us to 23. And that was where we ended it on the crude oil. Looks like during the break, you had a couple of decent trades right here. I had one right here, right at the break that I didn't do. One here during the break, there during the break, that were both great trades. This one would have stopped you out. This one, if you took it, would have stopped you out. And that was it. So you had 2 really good trades and 2 stop out trades if you would have taken them both or all. And that was what the morning looked like. Right, for crude oil, we ended with plus 23 ticks on crude. The Russell, I kind of screwed up on the Russell one time today, and that set me back a little bit. But let's go back to the beginning here. Why is it not dragging better? This one right here, I screwed up on that one. The next one was a valid mistake. I don't know how I messed up that other one so bad though. All right, we're going back to the beginning here on crude. I'm on the Russell, sorry, on the Russell. Our first trade on the Russell was right here, and we stopped out, minus 10 ticks on that. Then we had some more green arrows in here. This one would have worked out, this one not. This one not, that one not. But I wasn't really trading the Russell all that much. That one worked out. That one wouldn't have been a trade because you didn't get a higher swing. I took a break even on that one. Then I picked up 10 ticks to get back to 0 on this one. And I didn't do any of that. In here, I took this trade, and I don't know what I did, but I put it on the wrong side, and I ended up short 10 ticks. And when I put the trade on, I glanced over, put the trade on, and I glanced back, and I was looking at something on this side, and I went back. I thought I was getting into profit, and I looked back, and I was short. So as it was going up, it was stopping me out. So I got minus 10 ticks on that. I did not get plus 10. I got minus 10. That was a total mistake. I should make that an orange one. So I didn't make the mistakes orange. There, that's an orange one. This was just a regular stop out. So after this one, I was minus 10, and after this, I was minus 20. And that is where we ended it. That is where we ended it with the Russell. I believe we got one more break-even trade right there. It looks like there was another nice trade right here that I missed. Actually, I was looking for a higher swing, I think, after that one. We got the higher swing, but it didn't. And then you get into the break, and I was saying when the European markets close, I think it's going to loosen up, and look, it sure did. Loosen right up. Gave some great trades right through there, and then turned around, gave some of it back in here. I don't know if I took that. The long-term trend is really kind of flat there, so I probably would have skipped that, but I would have taken this one and this one. So this one would have been great. This one would have stopped me out. If I took the black arrow, and I might have taken it because it's so close to the ribbon, that would have been okay too. I wouldn't have taken it right here. The long-term direction is flat. That was the Russell today. On the Russell, we ended up with minus 20. We should have been minus 10, but we ended up with minus 20. In the ES, we really don't have anything. I have a lot of lines drawn in here and stuff, but we didn't place any winning trades or any losing trades on the ES today. Yeah, go back to the beginning. We didn't have anything all through here. Didn't trade at all through here. Our first trade was right here. We ended up with a break even. And we had one more break even trade somewhere right here. We had one more break even trade right there. That was it on the ES. A lot of black arrows, not that many green arrows today. All right, meaning once it got going, it didn't pull back, it just kept going. But it didn't get going all that often. That's pretty much what that indicates. So it's 12:55. All right. During the break, it was one trade here that would have been probably a break-even trade if I had taken the green arrow, and this one right here would have been profitable if I had taken the green arrow. Okay, and that was it for the ES. I can get rid of all these drawing things on here. Remove 18 drawings. There we go. You can see it a little clearer. All right, so the NQ. Now, we had a lot of bars in the NQ today, so I'm gonna do the arrow thing to get back to the beginning. Now, some might say I was getting greedy today. with the NQ, but I really wasn't. I was just taking the trades that were there. Okay, see, even doing it with the arrows is taking a long time. Maybe my computer needs a break. We're almost there, guys. All right, does anybody have any questions about anything? At this point, we have 3 minutes to get through all this stuff. All right, here we are at the beginning of the NQ. Now, let's bring it up to here. Here we go. We started out right here on the NQ. We had a break even there, and then we got our goal for the day on this one. We picked up 30 ticks on that one. And then scroll through, we picked up, we missed all these green arrows that you see through here. Picked up another 30 there to get us to 60. Missed all those. Picked up another 30 there to get us to 90. Picked up another 30 there to get us to 120. So we're at 120 ticks within the first half an hour this morning. And then I missed all of this. I don't know what I was doing. I missed all that. I was probably filling out the thing. Oh, I know what I was doing. I was ending the live stream at that point. There's some really nice trades all through there. We didn't trade it again for a little while, but we got another 30-tick trade somewhere. Trying to find it. Got a break even there. Didn't do any of those. Going through break even there. Didn't do any of those. Look at all those arrows. All right, we had another 30-tick trade here that got us to 150. We had a break even, another break even, and another break even. My goodness. And right here we had another 30. We got to 180 on that one. Okay, and now I'm thinking I'm going to hit 200 ticks is what I was thinking. All right, we're just barely an hour in, hour and a half in. I'm thinking we're going to hit 200 ticks. That's what I was thinking. And so the next trade that I took was right here. We picked up 8 ticks on that, got us to 188. And the one after that, we picked up a break even, and then 4 ticks to get us to 192. And then it happened. Somewhere in there, we got one more to get us to 196. We had one more trade in here somewhere to get us to 196, and then it happened. Bang, stop out, down to 176. Bang, another stop out, down to 156. Then I got 4 more ticks right here. That was where we ended it. 4 ticks in profit right there. We got up to 160. That was the day on the NQ this morning. Right, we had plenty of trades. There was a ton of trading going on this morning. If I had just stayed in for a couple more minutes, I'd have picked up another 30 ticks there, and then probably another 30 somewhere in here. Right in here, another 10 anyway, right in there. But anyway, we had to wrap up the morning, and I have to wrap this up too. So there's really good trading today. We had a lot of opportunity, and we took advantage of a lot of it. We did, I mean, nowhere near all the opportunity that was there. But again, we're not wanting you to get in there and trade 100 times a day. You know, we want you to get in there and get your goal for the day. That's what the spreadsheet is all about. There's a whole section of it in here in the spreadsheet. I'm going to start this over here. There's a whole section of it here in the spreadsheet down here at the bottom. If you quit trading when you get your goal for the day and add 1 contract per month, you have to earn your way up to that 1 contract per month. So every month I have to make $2,000 per contract. Like this month, I have to make $20,000 to be able to add another contract on for next month. Right? And that's quitting when I get the goal for the day. So quitting when I get the goal for the day, I have to make $20,000 this month to be able to add another contract on and go to 11 contracts next month. Right? So every month this year I've done that. And I mean, it looks like we're going to be easily at 20,000 by the end of the month. We're only a week in, and we're up to 7,200 already. So that's pretty good, right? That's with 10 contracts on this week. Quitting when I get the goal for the day, right? Again, if you haven't taken a free trial with us, go here to mytradingIQ.com, sign up for the free trial right here. Credit card required. Just fill out this little form. When you do, give us your TradingView username. It's right here. Give us a TradingView username. All right. Right there. So it'll enable your indicators right away. Okay. All right. Now, the live stream. Good afternoon, everyone in the live stream. Right now, we're starting out with no trade zone here on the NQ, no trade zone on the ES. long-term direction is flat here on the Russell. The crude oil, we need it to pull back up and test the ribbon and then give us a shorting opportunity. Okay, we haven't gotten there yet. If anybody has any questions in the live stream or you want to see anything other than futures, just type in the symbol you want to see. Okay, we're in the overbought here now on the crude, but we haven't hit the ribbon. After ribbon change, we haven't hit the ribbon. What the heck that was. All right, I'm not going to take this black arrow. Okay, I'm not going to black arrow. And that is me, I think, that 163 number. All right. So we wait. Is everything, can you still hear me when the live stream doing? Because it said I just disconnected over there. If I still have audio over there when it says disconnected like that. Okay. Okay. And you still hear it? Good. Yep, I hear it. Perfect. All right. So I didn't want to take this Russell green arrow because the long-term direction is flat. I wanted to give, so I'll take the second leg on this. If this puts in a lower swing and comes back, we'll take the second leg on that. Same thing over here with the NQ. If we get a green arrow, I don't want to take that. Same thing here with the ES, right? We want to wait until the market actually starts to trend. That was something I went over today in the other platforms. You know, you really, with TradingView, having the outer bands like this to give you the long-term trend, that is really a cool thing to have. You don't have to draw any of the trend lines that we used to have to do and all that. You know, and I was looking at, I went over a bunch of stuff with one of the other platforms today. One of the fellows is on the trial, and it's just, you know, it's kind of a pain in the neck to look at it and see, well, is it really, you know, did it change trend yet? Is this really what you consider it a trend change? In here, you don't have to even think about it. You just look at the long-term trend and say, do you have any separation in there? You know, like this over here right now on the crude oil, you have separation in there. You know, you were in an uptrend back here and you're not anymore. It's as simple as that. Yes, I totally forget to ask about that follow button. If you guys are watching this right now and you're not following us yet, and you want to be notified when we do a live stream, just click the follow button and start following us. Okay. We try to do these live streams daily, but if you, I mean, ideally, you want to take the free trial and have access to the indicators. The only way you're going to get access to the indicators is to take the free trial, right? There's no other way to get access to the indicators. Okay. So just take the free trial. So I want this to put in a lower swing and then pull back. If it puts in a lower swing, it'll separate these outer bands, and then we'll have something to work with, right? This, I would have rather seen it pull back deeper and give us a green arrow, but now that it's pushed down some, I want it to push down more. I don't know what all these drawing objects are on here, so I'm just going to erase them. Just erase them all. I think 37 of them. Just take them all off. I'll take them all off of this one too. Now that I've gone 72 drawings on that one. Okay, and this one, I think I already removed them on that one. Yeah. And on the NQ, there's probably a bunch on that one too. 85. Yeah, I'll remove all those too. Okay. So here we go. It's 104. We have 26 minutes left. Hopefully something's going to happen here. We had a lot of activity in the first couple hours, so I don't know what's going to happen here in the last few. I was really thinking crude oil was going to make a run for it toward the end of the session because we are way below the lowest weekly trading zone. The lowest weekly trading zone is way up here. I was thinking we're going to make a run for it there. And on the ES and the NQ, particularly on the ES, we were looking at it last night in the partners meeting, and we were looking at it this morning and yesterday on the ES. We were looking for it to get down to the midpoint here. And I was saying this morning, if this candle right here failed or it ended closing down below here, it was going to be a really bearish candle. It didn't end up closing down there. It ended up being a bullish candle and closing up above or on or above the ribbon of the BBC. That was bullish. I said if it closes between there, that'll be just no good for the rest of the day. If it closes below there, then it'll be bearish for the rest of the day. We should get down to here, but it closed above there and come really bullish. Really bullish. When the European market is closed, bang, it just started going up and up and up. And it went right up to here to this weekly trading zone that Dwayne has, or will, if he hasn't already gone over. and it dropped back down to the midpoint. And so now it's going to bounce around in here. I don't know what it's going to do from here, but I was surprised that crude oil didn't go with it. Okay, let me just minimize this a different way, like that. So we're still going sideways in here, and nobody's asked to see anything. Does anybody want to see any Forex or anything like that? And the video was one of the things yesterday, wasn't it? I remember. I'll have to try to remember that next time. So we're looking for a lower swing on the Russell. We're looking for a lower swing here, and just some sort of direction between these two. Okay. I guess I can just go look at other things anyway. Let's go in here. Now I did something here. Simple as that. The SPY. Okay. So I looked at that this morning, and this is on a 50 range. Because this morning when we looked at it, we actually looked at it on 100. No, we looked at the ES on the 50 range this morning too. But each bar is 50 cents in here right now, right? And so you see it gave a green arrow earlier this morning. It should have gotten down to the swing low, which it did eventually do. It gave the green arrow right here. They did not get down to the swing low, but your stop would have gone to break even or locked in some profit on that. It changed directions and pulled back right here. Now this looks like it hit the ribbon. It's really close to hitting the ribbon right there. The ribbon is at 23.15 and the low of that bar is at 23.18. So it was very close. It was like 3 off of hitting the ribbon. But right there, if you took that long trade, obviously you can see what it did. And there's another one setting up right here. All right, it didn't get the green arrow because it was so close to the ribbon, but didn't actually hit it. But that's what the SPY looked like today. Right, so there was some pretty good opportunity on that. 1, 2, 3. If you took this trade here, you would have stopped out. With a 50 range, your stop is going to be 75 cents. All right, so you would have stopped out on that, but it did put in a higher swing before it pulled back. So you could have taken this one right after it, gotten it back. And that is what the SPY looked like today. You guys want to see any other symbols? Say QQQ. See what that looks like. Somebody was asking about that yesterday, I think. This is what that looked like today. And this is also on a 50 range. So you're going to have a 75-cent stop on this. All right. The first trade, the first black arrow was right in here this morning, and that went to the prior swing low, went through it, pulled back up, didn't give you anything else through here until it changed directions. Then it gave you a couple of black arrows right here. All right, and it's got another one right now. I would expect this one is going to get up to the prior swing high, up here to 63.66. Okay, that's what I'd expect out of that. Look at other things. Tesla. Now this one, we're probably going to have to change the sensitivity on. Well, I guess it's okay. It's not too bad. This is also on a 50 range, and Tesla's only $250 a share, but it's okay. If you just follow the black arrows in here so far, we haven't had any green arrows since way back here, and this one would have stopped you out. With a 50 range, again, you're going to have 75-cent stop. Now, you would have had a couple of good green arrows down here. This would have been the first one. These two would have been combined into one. This would have been a good one. Even this one. And this one early on would have been a good short. Okay, you haven't had another pullback deep enough to get to the ribbon. That's why there's no more green arrows. Right? To get a green arrow, you have to be come out of the oversold. To get a green long arrow, you have to come out of the oversold. Long-term direction has to be bullish, and the black line has to be on the bottom of the ribbon. Okay. That's how you get a green arrow. Green bullish arrow anyway. Let's go back here for a second. Still nothing in here for futures. So we want to see this put in a lower swing. That's just going sideways. That's just going sideways. And that's just going sideways. All right, let's go look at something else. You guys aren't typing in, so I'm just going to keep looking at random things. All right, let's look at Apple since we had that big run up with the ES. Apple's probably doing pretty well right now too. All All right, so in Apple, starting today, we had a green arrow here. We had a green arrow here that would have stopped out. It was followed up by this one, but you couldn't take this one because that one stopped out. So you wouldn't been able to do anything until after you got this higher swing, and then it didn't give you any opportunity right there. So Apple was no good today, but that's on a 50 range. Now it's priced a little lower, so if we shoot it down to a 25 range, we'll see what happens here. Okay, so on the 25 range today, you had a short right here that didn't put in a lower swing. You had a long right here that worked out well. Didn't get any more green arrows after that. Right, you have a black arrow and a black arrow. Again, the difference between the black arrow and the green arrow is that the green arrow is coming off the ribbon. The black arrows are not coming off the ribbon. All right, that's the difference between a green arrow and a black arrow. All right, we did finally put in a lower swing here on the Russell. We didn't put in a lower swing over here on crude. We're still looking for that. But on the Russell, we could get a short trade here just in a minute here. So, excuse me. Sorry about that. We're not in the overbought. We're not touching the ribbon. So we're not going to have a trade until one of those things happens. Okay. Sin, you didn't come into the room this morning. You had one on the Russell. Please focus on the ES. Sin, gotcha. Okay. If crude turned down. Crude is turning down right now. It's putting in the lower swing. So we're going to have one here. I didn't want to take this one right here because I really wanted to push in a lower swing after the trend change. I want to have the green arrow after the trend change. Okay. And focus on the ES, Don. Okay. Yeah, you did say that in part of the meeting last night that you had gotten it in the meeting. And that's good. I was looking at things after that. Right. So focus on the ES, Don says. So here we are in the ES. You see we have the weekly trading zone up here. We just about got up to the tick. It's kind of going sideways here, but this is just a pullback of this big leg up. Right? It's not even a very deep pullback of the big leg up. So if you were to look at the leg lengths, Don, on a bigger time frame, let's get on a bigger time frame. Okay, let's do it on like a 25 range. And you look at the leg lengths. Okay, if we use this as the first leg length and this is the pullback, this is the next leg length. This is going to be a deeper pullback. If you look at it on a bigger time frame like this, right? Look at it like this. Use a trend line, and we'll just use this for our first leg length from here up to here. Okay. Now, obviously, the second leg length blew it away because the second leg length was so big. The pullback leg length was this big right here. Okay, this was our pullback leg length, this big right here. Okay, now I'm going to change that one. I'm going to change that. I'm going to change this. And cancel on that. And right click on settings and make it some other color. Make it that color. All right. It didn't change. Well, anyway, this is our pullback leg length. So you see this pullback leg length is this big, but it's bigger, but I'd expect that because this ran way over that length. So if we take the original leg length here, now Don, take the original leg length and we bring it all the way up here, I bet that brings us to the midpoint up above, doesn't it? Yep, right to the midpoint up above, almost to the zone. That's what I'd be expecting. Okay, this was the original leg length. This kind of blew it right out of the water. It just had so much momentum, it just kept going. If we get up above this weekly trading zone, I would expect it to at least get to the midpoint. Right? If this candle right now, the 1 o'clock candle on a 30-minute, if it closes up above the weekly trading zone, I'd expect it's going to get at least up here by the end of the day. Okay, is that for analysis on the ES? All right, so here we did put in just a little bit lower swing on the crude. I wasn't watching it, so I couldn't have taken this. It's too late now because it's already gone into profit. The Russell did move down, put in a lower swing, but it moved right back up. The SPY is putting in a higher swing right now. Well, I'm sorry, Apple was putting in a higher swing. SPY probably is too. Apple's putting in a higher swing from back here. But if we do the SPY, I bet it is too. And QQQ. Just about. All right, it's trying to get up above this level. Now this is a 25 range. We're looking at that on a 100 range, I think, or a 50. I think we're looking at 100 mark. So each bar was $1. Maybe it was a 50. So each bar is 50 cents. Yeah, that's what it was. Each bar is 50 cents. So we're looking for it to get up above that level right there. And QQQ is the same thing. Looking for the same thing. Excuse me. So Sin, when did you say your brother was gonna jump in? We put in a lower swing here on the crude. Now that was a ribbon trade right there. If you go to mytradingiq.com, let me say that again. If you have not taken a free trial, okay. If you have not taken a free trial with us and you want to take a free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com and click on this right here. Right, you're gonna be sent to this registration page where, oh yes, where's your name and your email? If you're a TradingView user, give us a TradingView username so we can enable your indicators right away. Okay, if you're a TradingView user, do that. mytradingiq.com, sign up for it there. Right now, back here. On the crude, we want to put in a lower swing. We want to see a pullback and bounce off the rip and give us another shot. The ES is still in a no trade zone right here. The NQ is coming out of the no trade zone now, so that's good. And it could be done. What did I say that thing was on the ES? I drew that line. What did it go up to? This goes up to 61, 43.61. So, and the midpoint is at 43.54. So that's what it's looking like. You see here on the QQQ, we just exceeded the prior swing high, and the SPY is probably doing the same thing. I think this candle that we're on the 30-minute chart is going to close above the weekly trading zone that we just talked about. I think it's going to close above the weekly trading zone within the next 12 minutes. So for that to happen, it's got to get up above, what is that, 40, 41? From where we currently are, which is on the ES 37. So it's going to go up about 5 points, put in a new high of the day. And that could easily happen in the next 12 minutes. It could happen in the next 2 minutes. I know this drives Shalithia. That's when my bars are so tiny like that. I don't mean to make them tiny like that. It's when I jump around between time frames, they end up being really small. Okay. Let's look at all those black arrows there on the NQ. All these times it popped out of the oversold. That's what all those are. See down there on the bottom, popped out, popped out, popped out, popped out, popped out. That's what all those black arrows are. Eventually it's gonna give us a green arrow. It's gonna make a run up and then pull back and hit the ribbon and give us a green arrow. Lately, it seems like when I wait for those green arrows and I miss all the good black arrows, I stop out on the one, stop out on the green arrow. It's done that to me a couple of times in the last couple of days. I don't see lately, that's not true. Just a couple of times in the last couple of days. Given all the trades that I've taken, it's not that big of a deal. Lower swing over here now. So crude is grinding its way down to something. What do you think it's going down to? We don't have any midpoints. We don't have anything below there. There's a little spot right here that it bought off of, and then all the way down here at 82.15. So possibly here at 82.40, and then down to 82.15. Now in the DOM is not really suggesting it's going to go down. Not yet, anyway. It might be something down at 82.40. I can't really see in the DOM enough. You know, the guys with TradingView, they can see a little more. Short target. That's what I was just looking for. Sin, the short target on that. 82.41 would be probably one, and 82.14. Okay. Oh, you're talking on a bigger time frame. From that. Okay. Well, that's from a larger time frame. If we go to a 30-minute, right here, if we go to a 30-minute chart, well, let me crunch it up a little bit. And what was the number you gave? That number. That's down here. So I don't really see that on the 30-minute chart. We are at the ribbon right now on the 30-minute chart. We're at the BBC ribbon right now. And if we break through it, if this candle closes down below it on the crude, then that's going to be pretty bearish for the rest of the day. Right? If this candle closes below it, I would expect it's going to move down significantly. 81.50 is a possibility. That's still today, right? Yeah, the low of the day is down at 81.50. So it's possible it could go all the way back down there. I don't know what the CTAs are on the downside from right here. Let's see trade alerts. But Dwayne probably went over that before I came on. Right, so we are getting our higher swing here on the QQQ. The NQ is also starting to move up. The ES, remember, by the bottom of the hour, if it closes up above this weekly trading zone, I think it's going to the midpoint. So 5 points ago is when I said that. It's in 41, 5 points ago. And here we are, above 41. And if we look at this, NQ, where's that going to? The midpoint on the NQ above is up here at 141, 141 all the way up there. Interesting. I'm guessing that Dwayne typed something in. Yeah, okay, just looking left. That's what I did too. We're almost always saying the same thing. Get a consistent message. All right, so we want to see a pullback down to the ribbon here on the NQ to get another trade. All right, we're in the oversold already, so it's going to give another black arrow if we pull out of the oversold. The ES is up on top of the weekly trading zone now. The Russell has made a big move up, so that needs a pullback, that needs a pullback, that needs a pullback. And QQQ, I would, now if you took the trade in here, me and Q, give it another black arrow. If you took the QQQ trade, I would be doing what we just said, looking left. Right, this is on the 50 range, but I'm gonna put it on the 5 minute. Okay, and so on a 5 minute, we are days away from being up at this level. Okay, on a 5 minute, we are still all the way back here to last month. Still haven't hit this level. Right, I'm gonna go to a bigger time frame. It's taking too long. Here, on a 30 minute now. Let's just go to the end. Do this on a 30 minute. Okay, so on a 30 minute, the last time we're at this level, we're filling a gap right now. You see that? We're just filling this gap. Last time we were at this level was September 21st. And we're filling the gap from that day right now. The next level up above, the next significant level up above is all the way up here. On the QQQ, all the way up here at 369. Okay, so the QQQ's got another 5 points in it on the way up. If that's going to happen, then the NQ's got a long way to go too, right? We could get our green arrow right here on the NQ. This could be the green arrow coming up right here. It's got a low of 84.75, but be buying 88.75 right now. Okay. And it's now 125. We got filled. We got only one tick of slip on that. That's good. Now with 8 ticks in profit, we're going to bump the stop to break even. So it's got to hit 91 and we'll bump that stop. Okay. This has a 20 tick stop on it. A 20 tick stop. Okay. And a 30 tick target also. 91. There it is. Stop to break even. All right. Now we have a break even trade. All right. What it should do is get up above the prior swing high. It should get up above here, above 98.50. Okay. That's what it should do. All right. Yeah. So did you see what I had to do with the QQQ? What the heck did I do? That used to be crude oil. But what I had to do with the QQQ to find it, I went to a much larger time frame to find someplace on the left. When I did on a 5-minute looking left, it was going days and days. But let me put this back to crude oil. Gosh, I didn't realize that I had changed it from crude. I thought I was working on this thing over here. Put that back into 7 range. There we go. Okay. Well, all right, so this is still going up. We had a long trade from right here that we just took a break even on. It did not put in a higher swing. And over here on the Russell, we need to pull back and test the ribbon on the ES. We're on top of a weekly trading zone right now. So I'm not going to take anything from there. We go out to the live stream. Did anybody ask for anything out there on the live stream yet? No, nobody. Okay. 3 minutes left. You guys in the live stream, if you like what you see and you want to get access to the indicators, the only way to get access to the indicators is to go to mytradingiq.com and sign up for the trial right here. Right? That's the only way to get access to the indicators. Even if you don't show up for the room in the morning, you'll have access to the indicators to play around with it if you want to. Okay. I would recommend showing up for the room so you know what you're looking at. You know how to use them. But that is up to you. If it happens to not fit in your schedule and you still want to know, if you take the trial, you can set up a one-on-one session with me or with Dwayne. And we will go over everything with you. Okay. All you have to do is text us, email us, find us in Telegram, all that stuff. Oh, speaking of Telegram, Rob, you in it right now? You are here, Rob. Valerie said she sent you the information that you needed for the Telegram stuff. Just want to make sure you got that. Okay. So we want this to pull back down and hit the ribbon right here. Right? Pull back, hit the ribbon, and then give us a bounce. That's all we need. There it is. Right. Now we need the bounce. So it has a low right now, 62.6. Add 8 to that. So you'll be buying 63.4 right now. 63.4. Like this. Okay. Buy stop limit at 63.4. So this is a 7-tick range bar. So the bar is going to close right here at 63.3. And then it should trigger me in at 63.4. I'll probably get slippage again, 63.5, but like that. But I'm in a trade, right? I was able to put that on ahead of time because I know how big the bar is going to be. And I was able to put my buy stop limit order on ahead of time. Rob, you would ask me about that this morning. It's not automated, but because these are range bars, you know ahead of time where the bar is going to close, so you can be proactive with your ordering it on ahead of time. Okay. All right, so now we need 4 ticks in profit. There it is. Stop to break even after 4 ticks in profit. This should go up through 64.30 up to right there, 65 is where that's trying to get to. It'd be 15 ticks if we get up there. Okay, 15 ticks. So I don't have any risk on the trade anymore. My stop is at break even. I don't have any risk. So we're just going to hold on to this and hopefully get the whole 15 ticks out of it. Right, the prior swing high is here at 64.7. So right here, it has to exceed that prior swing high to continue the trend. Right, and this is the number that it's trying to get to right there. How do I know that? Well, I read it. I read it right in front of you. Would have that number at 64.7 was the high and 65 was the number, right? Let me put that, let me mark that for you. It's right here. Scan up there right now. 65 was the number I said. All right. So we're going sideways here. We're starting to get a little action here on the ES. You see it up above this level right here. The NQ's not really giving us anything. And the QQQ, what did I say? That was going up to 369. Is that what I said? $5 more on the QQQ. I think that's what I said. I don't know. Anyway, it's 1:31, guys. I just realized what time it is. So we're going to wrap up the live stream. Anybody that's watching in the live stream, if you want to continue with this kind of stuff, you want to be in the room with us on Monday morning, or you just want to have access to the indicators over the weekend, you have to go out to mytradingiq.com right here and take a free trial right now. All right. Go to mytradingiq.com and take a free trial right now, and I'll give you access over the weekend. When you do that, there's no credit card required or anything like that. You just have to fill out this little form. Make sure you give us a TradingView username down here at the bottom. Okay. All right. And that's it. With that, I'm going to wrap up the live stream. Thanks for coming today, everybody. Have a great weekend. And Dwayne, I can pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, Studio A overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. It's all yours.
Recap of the session.
Today it took 9 minutes and 2 trades to get to $1,500.
Good job.
Thank you.
All right, guys, to become a lifetime member with no recurring fees, no upsells, no nonsense, go here, eminifuturestrading.com. 2 mouse clicks, and you become a member for life. There's no fine print. There's no asterisk. You got to go read what that really means. It means what it says in Merriam-Webster, the dictionary. Lifetime. Mine or yours, whichever runs out first. 9 out of 10 new traders fail because they don't have anyone to teach them how to do the job. So, simple math says if you want to have a fighting chance at becoming the 1 out of 10, then you do need somebody to teach you how to do the job. That's why the live training room is there for you every day, 9:15 a.m. Eastern, 11:30 a.m. Eastern. That's every trading day. And as a passport holder, you have a lifetime access. You also have access to unlimited one-on-one private mentoring, the strategy that you learn, the indicators you own for life as a passport holder are fluid across all markets and all time frames. Futures, stocks, crypto, forex, ETFs, doesn't matter. Price flows from support to resistance, back to support, back to resistance, over and over, again and again. It's a never-ending cycle. As a passport holder, you'll also receive the Logic 247 alerts, the concierge trade alerts, and you'll be able to attend the members-only workshop each and every Thursday night. And the passport also opens all of the private channels that we have in Telegram, the ones that are reserved for members only. When you're on the trial, there's a couple channels that you have access to. Once you become a passport holder, and you unlock everything. Just like last night, our workshop, okay? We record everything we do, and it was uploaded shortly after the workshop ended. But as a passport holder, if you weren't able to attend, then you could just go to the Telegram channel and watch it today, tomorrow, a week from now. There's probably hundreds at this point in the Telegram workshop channel. So, all you have to do is point your browser here. If you have questions, call 949-42-EMINI or email us support@cfrn.net. All right, good word for the day. Last 2 days, we've been talking about handling temptation. Let's go with the flow. Day 3, Matthew 6:13. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. In the Lord's Prayer, Jesus taught us to pray. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. Understand this. The enemy is always trying to lead you into temptation, whereas the Holy Spirit, who lives within you, is always trying to deliver you from temptation. It is informative that while the enemy is named the tempter, he is also named the accuser. In Revelation 12:10, we read, "For the accuser of our brothers and sisters, who accuses them before our God day and night, has been hurled down." There is no such thing as fair play with the enemy. As soon as he gets you to give in to temptation, he will switch hats and try to convince you that because you have yielded to it, you're beyond God's grace and redemption. But I have good news. Satan is a liar, and there is no truth in him. It's only when you deny your sin and reject God's mercy that you're beyond redemption. The Bible says in 1 John 8-9, "If we claim to be without sin, we deceive ourselves, and the truth is not in us. If we confess our sins, he is faithful and just and will forgive us our sins and purify us from all unrighteousness." Some people are delivered from temptation instantly. Others battle it for a long time before finding deliverance and victory. It's never a matter of God's unwillingness to extend grace to us, but of our own inability to receive it. So whether you come the easy way or the hard way, as long as your desire is to come to God, he will also provide a way out so that you can endure it. 1 Corinthians 10:13. And that's our good word for the day and for the week. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with his mercy and with his grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.